All righty. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yep, it is just afternoon. My name's Tim Schaeffer. I'm the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. Thank you for joining us here along the banks of the Susquehanna River, which is a great summertime destination for both fishing and boating. Today we're joined by State Senator John DeSanto. We're here in his legislative district. Officer Mark Sweppenheiser, this is his district. He patrols here throughout the year. Laura Landers is the director of our Bureau of Boating. We're going to be tag teaming a couple safe boating messages for everyone today, and that's the reason we're here, is because it is National Safe Boating Week. While boating can be enjoyed all year long in Pennsylvania and most of the areas of the Commonwealth, Memorial Day weekend really is the unofficial kickoff to boating season. We see the activity really ramp up here once Memorial Day weekend hits. We're going to talk about a couple different safe boating messages. I'm going to lead off with perhaps the most important one is wear your life jacket. Every year in Pennsylvania and across the country, we see about 80% of the boating fatalities are a result of people not wearing their life jackets. State law requires you to have a life jacket on board for everybody in the boat, and you need to make sure that those life jackets fit. It's one thing to have them on the boat. It's another thing to make sure they fit. To be legal, if Officer Sweppenheiser sees you, need to make sure they fit the occupants that are on board. If you have children on board, you need to make sure that their life jacket fits snugly. We do something called a touchdown test. If you can have the kid being like they're going to make it a touchdown and pull them up by their life jacket, it doesn't go over their heads, that means the thing fits. Over the last 10 years, we've averaged about 11 boating fatalities in Pennsylvania. Fortunately, we were down to 9 last year. 60% of the people were not wearing a life jacket. Back to those children. If they're under 12, they need to be wearing their life jacket on all boats under 20 feet and all canoes and kayaks. Regardless of your age, we recommend that you wear your life jacket. Nationwide, the statistics bear out that if you wear your life jacket, chances are you're going to come back for your friends and family. Ask yourself if you'd be willing to take the chance of not coming home after a boating adventure this summer. Please wear your life jacket. They're easier to wear than ever. They're more comfortable than ever. I don't know if you caught that. That was a motorcycle going by. Hopefully he was wearing his life jacket when he gets back here. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mark Sweppenheiser. Again, he's the Waterways Conservation Officer here in Dauphin County.
Thank you, Director Schaeffer. Good morning, everyone. From fishermen to bass boats, kayakers enjoying paddle, pontoon boat operators, jet skiers, power boaters pulling wakeboards, we all share the water. That includes me. As a Waterways Conservation Officer, it is my responsibility to make sure everyone remains safe on the water. Please never boat under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Simply put, impaired boating increases the chances of an accident. Just like operating a motor vehicle on the roadway in Pennsylvania, a person operating a boat over the legal limit, if she or he has a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08% or higher. Alcohol affects balance, coordination, and judgment. BUI penalties includes loss of boating privileges, significant fines, and imprisonment. Please, if you plan to drink this Memorial Day weekend and throughout the summer, always choose a designated boater. Officers will be on patrol looking for signs of impairment to make sure your weekend is nothing but an enjoyable weekend. I'll now welcome Director Anders.
Thank you, Officer Sweppenheiser. One of the great things about boating in Pennsylvania is discovering new waters and new friends to enjoy them with. Over the past several years, we've seen an incredible increase in the number of boaters, especially paddlers, enjoying kayaking, canoeing, and stand-up paddleboarding. We welcome this explosive growth in boating, and we know that many of these new boaters head out onto the water with very little or no knowledge of the waters where they'll be navigating. The same may even be true for experienced boaters who are trying out a new river, a new lake, or a stream for the first time. That's why the next step on our boating safety checklist is to file a float plan. In its most basic form, this simply means send a text or a written note to let someone know where you're planning to boat and when you plan to be home. Plans can change when you're out on the water having fun, but keeping someone aware of your location throughout the day can help ensure that help arrives quickly if you experience a medical or a mechanical issue while you're on the water. Carry a dry bag. where you can keep your cell phone and a change of clothes and other valuables while you're boating. Map out where you'll be putting in and taking out, and be aware of any dams or other hazards along the way. Pay attention to posted warning signs along the way. As a reminder to all boaters, both new and experienced, water conditions can vary in different locations, even on the same water. So be prepared for rapids and other obstacles in advance and make your trip more predictable and enjoyable. Next, I'd like to welcome Senator John DeSanto to round out our safety message.
Thank you, Laura. I'm State Senator John DeSanto representing Dauphin County, and I'm very happy to have this portion of the Susquehanna River in my district. As we know, there's a reason why Pennsylvanians love to fish and boat in the summertime. Most days features blue skies and hot sun, cool water, and it's a great place to spend time with your family. But don't be fooled, things can turn bad very quickly. That's why it's important to always check the weather forecast before and during each boat trip. Summer's fast-moving storms can cause water levels to rise quickly and become dangerous. High water conditions can affect visibility and hide submerged items such as logs and rocks that can cause you to capsize. Always check the forecast before and during your trip because it can change rapidly. Scout our locations in advance where you can get your boat out of water and find refuge from severe weather if needed. Also, it's easy to lose track of time when you're out having fun on the water. Build extra time into your plans so you don't end up unprepared or in unfamiliar water at nighttime. Thanks, and now I'll hand it over to Executive Director Tim Schaeffer to conclude our presentation.
So as we leave here today, we'd like to encourage you to visit our website, which is fishandboat.com, or to download our mobile app, Fish Boat PA. Online resources include online boating safety courses to make sure you're as prepared as you can be when you get on the water. You can buy your fishing license, launch permits, and renew your boat registration online. You can also find great places to fish and boat all across Pennsylvania. We've got a really neat Near Me feature where you can find places like Fort Hunter here in Dauphin County. Finally, we'd like to wish everybody a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. Reminder that Sunday, May 28th, is one of our 2 Fish for Free days in Pennsylvania. If you've never fished before and want to give it a shot, Sunday would be a great day to do it. So with that, have fun, wear your life jacket, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. Yes, ma'am.
So the Fish and Boat Commission, you guys are looking at extending the life jacket requirement. Right now it's through April.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking to do it through May. So why are you guys looking at that? And then when would a decision be made on that? Because that would likely cover Memorial Day.
Correct. So BJ Small, who's our local commissioner here in South Central Pennsylvania, at our last board meeting, he asked our staff to take a look at the statistics and see if we thought we could save more lives by extending that life jacket requirement out to June 1st. Our boating advisory board will meet on June 5th at our commission headquarters out on Elmerton Avenue. That's where we'll be discussing it. So the earliest the boating advisory board can make a recommendation to our board would be in June. Our board of commissioners then are the ones that ultimately make a recommendation. Needs to go through a proposed and final rulemaking. The earliest possible time would be for next boating season.
And is that just because you guys have seen more people, out on the water in May?
We really do see extended boating seasons at the beginning and the end of the boating season. Mark's counterparts out in Pittsburgh will tell you about people that are watching Steelers games from their boats in October and November these days. I mean, we really have a much longer boating season in Pennsylvania. The air temperature warms up quicker than the water temperature. So you may think, oh my gosh, it's a 70-degree day in the middle of May. That water can still be bone-chillingly cold. You still have those cool nights that allow the water temperature to stay cold for a longer period of time.
And the cold water, that's a warning for people who might be out next weekend, right?
Absolutely. And Mark's the one on the river. Any safe boating tips for folks that are out next weekend when it comes to water temperatures?
Every year we have the boating season, and it's not something we do year-round in Pennsylvania. So when it comes to the start of the boating season, we make sure that we're prepared by looking over our equipment and reinforcing the safety measures that we need to take on our boat. For example, if we boat on moving water, that we have an anchor available on the boat that's going to be sufficient enough to stop that boat if we need time to repair it before it goes over an obstacle or something like that. So making sure our life jackets are serviceable, they're not dry rotted, make sure something hasn't chewed them up, make sure our buckles still work, making sure our lights are still functioning, making sure our fuel in our fuel tanks is going to be octane enough to make sure that motor is going to stay running for us. So those are some of the challenges that we have at the beginning of the boating season that we take for granted. We get in our car every day and we do it repeatedly day after day, but our boating season is 9 months a year, and it might have been 3-6 months since the last time we were in a boat. So we need to make sure that we're up to speed on some of the things that we need on that boat.
And really, the most simple thing you can do is wear your life jacket. It's not required right now during these months of the year for adults, but wear it anyway.
And then we also have the Docksford Dam. Last month there was a fatality. So what should voters be on the lookout for when they are on the water? What signs?
Sure. Again, I'll turn it over to Mark since he's the one on the water.
That's a great question. Just like driving down a highway, we have speed road signs. We need to make sure that we know the waterway that we're going to be boating on, what obstacles are there. We need to look at those weather forecasts like the Senator mentioned. Make sure we look at the river level forecasts if we're going to be on moving water. But number one, make sure you have life jackets that are sized and serviceable and proper for each person on that boat. And if you get into trouble, make sure you have an anchor that's suitable to stop that watercraft so you have time to call some help.
And people will be out celebrating. They're having a good time. They might not be paying attention to where they are over the river. So, looking at those signs, if they are getting closer.
Excellent point. There should be more than one person on that watercraft that knows how to operate that watercraft and has some experience in boating. First-time boaters should join a boating club. Go out with someone who knows that particular area so that you can learn the waterway and they can impart their knowledge to you.
I'll reinforce drinking and boating. The legal limit for boating under the influence is the same as driving under the influence. So please do not boat impaired this Memorial Day weekend. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming.